Welcome to Forget the Ladder, Reinvent Your Career, a podcast for women ready to accelerate their careers. I'm your host, Annette Garsteck, your career reinvention coach. Are you ready for a career shift or eager to enhance your professional skills? Ever faced a workplace challenge and wondered how to navigate it? Well, you're in the right spot. Join me as we explore effective strategies to tackle career obstacles and ensure you're getting the value you deserve. It's time to redefine success one step at a time. Let's get started. Welcome to Forget the Ladder, Reinvent Your Career. I'm your host and career reinvention coach, Annette Garsteck. This is the second episode in a series of 9 in which I'll walk you through my Reinvent Your Career process. I'm excited to share some big secrets that I normally save exclusively for my clients. And the star of today's episode is your resume. Yep, let's talk about this polarizing document. What is a resume? What's its purpose? What belongs on it? I've been asked countless questions about resumes, so maybe I should start with what it isn't. A resume is not going to get you the job. A resume is not a complete work history, and a resume is not a regurgitation of your past and present job descriptions. Let's tackle what a resume is. A resume is a piece of marketing. It's a marketing collateral for you and the value you bring to an organization. It's a way to showcase your expertise and skills, and it's aligned with your target role job descriptions. So what purpose does the resume serve? A resume's primary purpose is, drum roll please, to get you a phone call. That's it. That's what a resume should do. It should get you a call to discuss your qualifications or to schedule a phone screen or to invite you even to an in-person interview. How do you get your resume to do this for you? Well, that's a great question, and I'm so excited that you asked. So let's start with the end in mind when you're working on your resume. Consider all the relevant information that belongs on your resume, including your contact data, your education, your work experience, any volunteerism that you do, publications, and awards. Select a format that is visually appealing and can fit the amount of data that you want to include. So important. And then frame your experiences in relation to the target role you will be applying for. Now let's talk about cleaning up your current resume in preparation for that. Let's audit some of the information you already have and either rule it in or rule it out. So starting with your email address, this one gets me every time. Your email address should not be as old as your dial-up internet service provider. If you have an email address that ends in any of these domains, I want you to ditch it. It's not serving you. Yahoo.com, sbcglobal.net, AOL.com, roadrunner.net, prodigy.net, hotmail.com. It really is aging you. These email addresses could signal that you are not as tech forward as the hiring company needs its candidates to be, and you don't want to do that. So let's not even talk about how an unprofessional email address could be negatively impacting your job search. To learn more about that, I've added a tutorial in the upper right-hand corner of your screen that you can watch next. Here's my recommendation. Choose an email address that combines your first and your last name. Use a current domain provider like Gmail or Outlook, and consider creating an email address exclusively for launching your job search. Let's take a quick break. I'll be back in 45 seconds. Is your current role that you've been in for over a decade making you feel stuck, like waiting on a dial-up connection to send an email, leaving you questioning why you didn't switch providers sooner? It's me, Annette Garsteck, your career reinvention coach. If you're ready for a career transformation, you've arrived at the right destination. I'm here with Reinvent Your Career. Instead of being stuck, you will launch a strategic and focused career makeover aligned with your values and land a role that acknowledges your strengths. Head over to AnnetteGarsteck.com and book your free strategy call. Your dream job is waiting for you to take the first step. Welcome back to Forget the Ladder, Reinvent Your Career. Let's jump back into talking about all the resume things. What's best left off of your resume? An objective statement. Your 2005 resume called and it wants its objective statement back. So you can give it back, replace it with a career profile that summarizes your high-level competencies and the outcomes that you deliver. Other phrases that you want to eliminate on your resume are phrases that add little to no value, including things like references available upon request, responsible for, low power verbs like help, assist, and worked. What should you do instead? That's easy. Delete those things that offer no value. You do not need references available upon request on your resume. Of course, if they ask you for references, you'll provide them. Okay. You don't need dull verbs on your resume. And this will free up space in your document for more impactful information. And that's what you want, information that's impactful. So I have a free resource that includes awesome action verbs to help you replace the boring ones you may already be using in your resume. So head over to AnnetteGarsteck.com/podcast and download this awesome action verb help guide. And here's 3 other no-nos that I want you to fix on your resume. They need fixed. They need fixed now. And number 1 is headshots. Unless you're in a profession that requires your headshot to be on your resume, I don't know, let's say you're an actor, then most US-based companies do not want to see your headshot on your resume, okay? The prevailing thought is that if your photo is seen as one of the first things, then it could trigger someone's unconscious or conscious bias. And you don't want to do that. And I, in fact, know some people in talent acquisition that say if a resume comes across their desk with a photo on it, they normally set it aside because they don't want to be accused of infusing bias into the hiring process because now they know what the candidate looks like. Interesting. The second thing that needs to go from a resume is TMI, too much information. Okay, so now is the time when you can pare your resume down. This is so very important. Your resume does not have to include a complete and exhaustive work history. Feel free to add the last 10 to 15 years of your experience. Leave off your high school babysitting job. You don't have to include that first entry-level job you had where you were an individual contributor and I don't know, you were just graduated out of college if that's not appropriate. And if your work history is vast, then consider paring it down to the last relevant 10 to 15 years, like we talked about. And you'll also want your document to have some white space, right? To give the eyes a break, to have it be visually appealing. So having too much information is definitely working against that aesthetic choice. Another thing that needs to go off your resume immediately is irrelevant dates. And what kind of dates am I talking about here? I'm talking about those age bias triggering dates. Okay, things like your education dates. This is primarily where it shows up on a resume is in your education. So first of all, unless you've graduated in the last 5 to 7 years, you do not need your college graduation dates on your resume. Okay. So remove the graduation dates from your undergrad, your graduate degrees. If you have gone to college and have graduated, then you don't need any reference of high school data, high school graduation dates on there. Eliminate those. Wow, we have discussed some major revision points for your resume. There's so much more information that I could give you about resumes, but I have only shared what I can in the time that is allotted for this episode. So do this. If you have a general resume question, email me at podcast@AnnetteGarsteck.com and I'll collect your questions and respond in a future episode. If you're ready to reinvent your career, I invite you to schedule a strategy session with me. The calendar invitation to do so is located in the description box of this episode. Join me next week as I dive into how to optimize your LinkedIn profile for your job transition. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Forget the Ladder, Reinvent Your Career. I'm Annette Garsteck, and it's been a pleasure guiding you through the ins and outs of career reinvention. Remember, every challenge is a stepping stone to your success. Keep investing in your growth and never settle for less than your worth. Stay tuned for more insights in my next episode. Until then, keep taking action towards success and redefining your career path. Want more information about building a successful career? Watch one of these videos next.